Hello everyone and welcome to Holistic Healing with Deepshika. Today we are diving into a topic that affects all of us, whether in our personal lives or workspaces or even within ourselves. We are talking about conflict resolution. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. As humans, we all have different needs, desires and perspectives, which means that disagreements are bound to arise. But what separates healthy relationships and environments from toxic ones isn't the absence of conflict, but how that conflict is handled. Conflict resolution, when done right, can lead to growth, stronger relationships, and positive change. So let's explore how we can turn disputes into opportunities for deeper connection and understanding. And if you are someone like me who finds confrontational conversations uncomfortable, then this episode is for you. Before we get into how to resolve a conflict, we need to understand what conflict is and why it happens. Conflict occurs when there is a perceived threat to our needs, values, or interests. This can happen on a small scale, like a disagreement with a friend, or on a larger scale, like a workplace issue or a societal problem. At its core, conflict is driven by a mismatch of expectations or interests. You want one thing, someone else wants another. But it's essential to realize that conflict isn't inherently bad. In fact, it can be a positive force for change if approached correctly. The goal of conflict resolution isn't necessarily to win or make the other person lose, but to find a solution that addresses the need of both parties. So why is conflict resolution important? Poorly managed conflict can lead to broken relationships, a toxic work environment, and high levels of stress. But when conflicts are resolved effectively, they can strengthen relationships, boost trust, and promote a more harmonious and productive environment. Let's break down some key reasons why conflict resolution is vital. If conflicts are left unresolved, they can fester and grow into bigger problems. A small disagreement, when ignored, can turn into deeper resentment or even a full-blown crisis. Next, when we engage in conflict resolution, we often uncover deeper needs or concerns that weren't initially apparent. This can lead to a greater understanding of the other person's perspective and help build empathy. Successfully resolving a conflict can strengthen bonds. When you work through a difficult situation with someone and come out the other side, you build trust and demonstrate that the relationship is resilient. In workspaces, unresolved conflict can reduce productivity and morale. Conflict resolution helps teams move forward with clearer communication and a sense of unity. Now that we understand the importance of resolving conflicts, let's talk about how to do it effectively. Conflict resolution isn't about avoiding the problem or brushing it under the rug. It's about addressing the issue head-on in a constructive and respectful way. Here are some key steps to mastering conflict resolution. The first step in resolving any conflict is to pinpoint the source. This may sound obvious, but often people argue about surface issues without getting to the root of the problem. Take the time to ask yourself and the other party what the conflict is really about. Are you upset about a specific behavior or is it part of a bigger issue? For example, a disagreement over chores might really be about feeling undervalued in a relationship. Conflict resolution requires an environment where both parties feel safe to express their concerns without fear of judgment or retaliation. Set up a time to talk when both people are calm and not in the heat of the moment. Make sure that each person has the opportunity to speak and be heard. When creating this safe space, emphasize that the goal isn't to attack or blame, but to find a solution that works for everyone. Active listening is the key here. Really try to understand what the other person is saying without interrupting or forming a rebuttal in your mind. When resolving conflict, it's essential to focus on the issue at hand and not the other person's character or personality. Avoid making sweeping generalizations or personal attacks like you're always selfish or you never listen. Instead, focus on specific behaviors and how they affect you. For example, when you interrupt me during meetings, I feel disrespected and it makes it hard for me to contribute. By focusing on the issue rather than the person, you are less likely to put the other party on the defense, which can lead to a more productive conversation. Using I statements can help you express your feelings without blaming or criticizing the other person. This helps reduce defensiveness and promotes understanding. For example, instead of saying you never help with the housework, you might say, I feel overwhelmed when I have to do all the housework by myself. I statements take ownership of your feelings and needs, making it easier for the other person to understand where you're coming from and work with you to find a solution. Once both parties have had the opportunity to express their concerns, it's time to move towards finding a solution. This should be a collaborative process. Brainstorm possible solutions together and be open to compromise. The goal isn't for one person to win while the other person loses. Instead, look for a resolution that addresses the needs of both parties. Once a solution has been reached, it is essential to agree on the next steps and clarify expectations moving forward. Make sure both parties are clear on what's been decided and committed to following through. In some cases, this might mean setting up a future check-in to make sure things are still going smoothly. One of the biggest challenges in conflict resolution is managing emotions, both your own and the other person's. When emotions are running high, it's easy to say things we don't mean or make decisions we'll regret later. Here are some strategies to manage emotions during conflict. Stay calm. Take deep breaths and remind yourself to stay calm. If you feel yourself getting too emotional, it's okay to take a break and return to the conversation when you're feeling more composed. Next, use empathy. Try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Even if you don't agree with their point of view, recognizing their feelings can help you approach the situation with more understanding. And lastly, avoid escalation. If the conversation starts to get heated, focus on de-escalating rather than escalating. Lower your voice, acknowledge the other person's feelings, and steer the conversation back to the issue rather than letting it spiral into personal attacks. Conflict is a natural part of life, but how we handle it determines whether it strengthens or weakens our relationships. By focusing on clear communication, empathy, and collaboration, we can turn conflict into an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. So, next time you find yourself in a disagreement, remember that conflict isn't the enemy. It's an invitation to learn more about yourself and the people around you. Mastering conflict resolution is a skill that will serve you in every area of your life, from your personal relationships to your career. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you found this episode on conflict resolution helpful. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. And with this, we also come to the end of the Open Mind series, at least for now. And if you're someone who has heard all the episodes in the series, you would realize that what is within is outside of us and how everything is connected. Until next time, stay open, stay compassionate, and keep growing.